Multiple T-90 tanks have been deployed in Ukraine, but all have faced the same outcome: destruction by kamikaze drones. Ukrainian drones have also been highly effective against stationary targets, including abandoned Russian T-90 tanks. The FPV drone strike usually renders the tank inoperable, after which another drone is sent to drop munitions into the open hatch of the T-90 tank. This can trigger a fire inside the vehicle, and if it spreads to the ammunition compartment, the resulting explosion is massive. The massive explosion illustrates the amount of ammunition stored inside these Russian T-90 tanks and reflects the level of firepower they are designed to carry, with large ammunition reserves contributing to their battlefield role for the Russian army. The Russian T-90 tank typically carries around 42 rounds for its main gun, stored in an auto-loader and internal racks, along with additional ammunition for its machine guns. The carried ammunition, however, usually varies depending on mission configuration and variant, affecting total loadout, internal storage distribution, and combat readiness in field conditions. The war in Ukraine has clearly demonstrated that even heavily armored Russian tanks struggle to defend against kamikaze drones, which can strike moving targets and cause significant damage, often disabling key systems that can be decisive on the battlefield. As an average, a Russian T-90 tank can reach speeds of around 60 km an hour on roads, while Ukrainian FPV kamikaze drones can reach speeds of roughly 100–150 km an hour, allowing them to close in and strike moving targets even when the tank is operating at its maximum speed. This is why the tanks are unable to effectively evade or counter FPV drone attacks in many battlefield conditions, as the speed advantage and maneuverability of the drones reduce the reaction time available to crews and limit the effectiveness of traditional defensive measures. The T-90 tank can't simply outrun or reliably evade FPV drones, which makes them highly vulnerable to rapid aerial strikes during movement or in exposed positions on the battlefield, making them easier to target and destroy once detected. However, stationary targets are often easier for Ukrainian drone operators to destroy, as they not necessarily require a kamikaze impact. Munitions can be dropped onto abandoned Russian T-90 tanks, sometimes directly into open hatches that tank crews have left unsecured. These open hatches provide an entry point for dropping grenades into the interior of the tank, where even a small fire can lead to complete destruction of the vehicle. This method also allows the drone to remain intact, making the attack very low cost for Ukrainian forces, while resulting in the loss of a T-90 tank valued at around $4.5 million. However, these grenade drops require careful precision and skill, as shown in this footage, where the grenade is released from several meters above a small hatch left open on the T-90 tank. In the footage, the T-90 tank was fitted with additional metal protection, as is often seen on many tanks operating in Ukraine, but this did not prevent the strike. The open hatch provided access to the interior of the vehicle, and if it had not been left open, multiple strikes would likely have been required before the tank could have been destroyed. As rare as tank-on-tank engagements have become in modern warfare, there is still captured footage of a duel between a Russian T-90 tank and a Ukrainian Leopard 2 tank. The Ukrainian Leopard tank enters the battlefield, while a reconnaissance drone monitors and secures the surrounding area from above. The landscape is filled with artillery scars, and the buildings lie in ruins, indicating that heavy fighting has previously taken place in the Donetsk region. The location is likely the rural settlement of Stepo, as the footage is believed to date from 2024. As the Leopard tank searches for potential threats, the reconnaissance drone detects a Russian T-90 tank in the distance, and the engagement begins. The first shot misses by a few meters to the side of the tank, and a second round is launched immediately afterward, striking the side armor and damaging the T-90. Now the crew of the enemy forces realizes that they have to retreat to survive the engagement, likely hoping that movement and distance will end the confrontation. However, the Ukrainian Leopard tank continues the pursuit and fires repeatedly toward the withdrawing T-90, causing further damage during the engagement. Despite the pursuit, The Russian tank moves further away from the Ukrainian tank and manages to escape. With the T-90 damaged and out of the immediate area, Ukrainian forces take advantage of the situation and begin striking Russian positions. They fire multiple rounds without facing any resistance, as the opposing forces have already been displaced or withdrawn from the immediate area following the engagement and the damage sustained. They continue to clear the area and fully exploit the situation by calling in reinforcements. However, to be frank, despite some intense engagements and local tactical successes attributed to Ukrainian forces, Ukraine had withdrawn from the area some time ago, and the territory remains under Russian control for now. Here is another captured engagement between a Ukrainian Bradley and a Russian T-90 tank. This footage is perhaps among the most widely known tank encounters recorded during the war. The Bradley retreats while firing intensely to obstruct the enemy's vision, as its 25mm autocannon is generally incapable of penetrating the thick frontal armor of the T-90 tank. The Bradley appears to have inflicted damage on the tank, and one possible explanation is that it disabled the T-90 MTCS fire control system, or eliminated crew members in the turret, as the turret began rotating uncontrollably. The tank crashes into a tree and becomes an exposed target, allowing Ukrainian drone operators to finish it off. This captured battle is often cited as an example of the capabilities of Western equipment. Two Bradley fighting vehicles took part in the engagement against one of the Russian military's most modern tanks and ultimately contributed to disabling it during the encounter. When a kamikaze drone is used against a stationary target instead of dropping explosives, operators may also aim for open hatches or other vulnerable points of the T-90 tank, such as the rear section, optics, engine compartment, or exposed external systems. The drone was able to enter the tank before detonating, causing an internal explosion and setting the vehicle on fire. The fire continued for some time before subsiding, leaving the abandoned tank smoking and completely inoperable for further combat use. Because of the experienced danger that drones can pose to tanks in Ukraine, Russian forces have attempted multiple methods to protect their vehicles against these threats. Here, a Russian T-90M tank is seen operating in Ukraine. The tank is fitted with a large metal cage structure, often referred to as a turtle shell or cope cage, designed to partially or fully cover the vehicle. This added layer is intended to detonate or deflect incoming FPV drones and drop munitions before they reach the main armor. Camouflage netting and natural cover are also used to reduce visibility from aerial surveillance. Modern warfare has led to significant changes in tank design and development, with extensive protective measures now being implemented to counter aerial threats. Russian forces are attempting to do their best to avoid losing their expensive tanks to Ukrainian drone operators. However, this is not an easy task. The war in Ukraine has lasted for over 12 years, with the full-scale invasion continuing for 4 years, and this has made infantry and drone operators among the most experienced in the world, capable of targeting and destroying Russian equipment sent to the front line. Even night operations present no major challenge for Ukrainian drone operators. For Russian T-90 tank crews, however, rest is limited, as stationary targets are among the easiest to locate and strike. Winter conditions also do little to reduce the threat, and Russian forces continue to lose expensive tanks to drone strikes and battlefield combat. The explosion was so powerful that the tank's turret was thrown several meters into the air, likely caused by the detonation of ammunition stored inside the vehicle following the drone strike. If you stayed until the end, feel free to see more footage from the world's most critical conflict zones. Stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll see you next time on Iron Pulse Media.